Howdy folks, welcome to my workshop. I like folk music a lot, but I like folk toys too, and I thought I'd show you some that I've made. First, I'd like to show you where I get a lot of my ideas from. One is from this old book called American Folk Toys, written by a gentleman by the name of Dick Schnake, S-C-H-N-A-C-K-E, done in 1973, and it has patterns and instructions for how to make all sorts of old-time folk toys. This is where my friend's dog chewed up a few pages. That's alright. And another great book is a more modern one written by a gentleman by the name of Ken Folk, Folk Toys. Again, all sorts of terrific patterns, and so I'll show you a few of the things that I made out of these books. The first is rocking penguins. They're on a teeter-totter or seesaw, whatever way you call it. My wife Barb paints these, and their wings and legs swing back and forth. Great fun to fool around with. Here's one that I really like a lot. It's a little ladder, and you put one of these things on it. Looks like a giant clothespin, and down he goes. Sometimes he jumps right off the ladder like that. Sometimes he gets stuck on the ladder, so you have to give him a little poke. There he goes. Great fun. We'll put you over here. For those of you folks who have a lathe, you could turn a top. There he goes. Spins like crazy. Here's a double tops. They're mounted inside this stick with holes in it, and a shoestring is put through the spindle on each one. You stand them up and give them a yank, see what happens. There they go. Two at once. And they start wobbling and off they go. Put you over here. What else we got? Oh, this thing is called a Jacob's Ladder. It's a series of blocks with an ingenious system of cloth tapes holding them together. And you give them a... oh, sometimes they get stuck. There they go. I think this is one of the first things I ever made. Let's see if it works a bit better upside down. Not really. Cloth tape's getting kind of worn out. Oh, there we go. Jacob's Ladder. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's called a Whinny Diddle or a Gee-Haw or a Hooey Stick. It's got a little propeller on the front of it stuck in the end with a nail, and then you just take a jackknife or a file and cut some notches in this stick, and then you just rub them. And the propeller starts spinning away like crazy. Sometimes if you spin long enough, it'll stop right in the middle and change directions. Great fun. This is a spinner which is sitting on a blowpipe. There it goes. I think these things are called smoke grinders. Don't have to have a lathe to make one of these. It's just a circle that you can cut out with a coping saw and put a stick, pointed stick through it. String here, and then this pumper thing, so you give it a spin. Oh, there it goes. And you pump up and down on this pumper bar and it spins back and forth. Bet you could start a fire with it if you went long enough. Whistles. This is just carved out of a birch branch. I just drilled a hole through the stick and put a plug in the end, and you cut a tiny little flat surface on the top of this plug. Make a little ramp for the whistle part. I also put a little hole here, finger hole, and one in the back, thumb hole, so you get 3 notes out of it. Make all sorts of silly noises. Whistles are great fun. Well, here's one that's got 4 whistles in it, and it's just a hunk of 2x2 with a whistle in each corner. Sounds kind of like a train. Here's a doll's chair that I made just out of twigs and little sticks, all pinned together with tiny chunks of dowel. Put it over here. Well, this is a good one. It's just a box with the sides of it are really thin pieces of wood, kind of curved down. And with a screw you attach this board, which is curved on this side, and then there's a bunch of grooves cut into it with a saw, and you rub chalk over the grooves, and it makes kind of a noise like a turkey. Highly appropriate, seeing as how this is Thanksgiving week here. Thanksgiving 2016. These are pecking chickens. They have articulated necks and a pendulum underneath, and when you get it going, they heads peck up and down, eating away. Pecking chickens. Here's a little automaton. It's a cat trying to catch a mouse. So you spin the crank around and the little mouse goes round and round, and the cat never quite catches it. There's a system inside here of cams and a rack and pinion gears. So that's how that works. Great fun to fool around with. Cat and mouse. Pull toys. Here's a fellow who's proudly riding his huge tricycle. And his legs pump up and down, and he cranks the wheel around. We'll put him over here. Here's another one of railroad guys pumping up and down on their little car. Just a eccentric cam inside with a hunk of coat hanger wire that pushes up on this. Oh, away we go. Here's an interesting one. It's a lady chasing 3 geese, and when you turn one wheel, the geese go back and forth. And when you turn the other wheel, she shakes her staff at them. So, here we go. Great fun to make. Oh, a climbing bear. He just has he's sitting on two cords and there's just an angled hole through each arm. So when you pull alternately on one string and then the other, up he goes. And you give it a shake when they get to the top and down he comes and up again. Climbing bear, we'll put him up here. Oh, here's another pull toy. It's a bucking horse. His head goes up and down and his hind legs kick out. And last but not least is my little buddy, the lumberjack. He's just a little dancing guy with legs that wobble and arms that spin around, and you got to make a paddle like this. And then when you sit on it, and it's got to be done on a hard chair. This won't work on a soft cushion chair. Just hold them above the paddle and whack the paddle with your thumb. And off he goes, dancing away. Anyway, there's my folk toys. Hope you guys enjoyed that. See you next time.